fix my mic. This whole entire time I'm speaking, they twisted my mics. Don't have kids. My mic is like totally upside down. Bear with me. All right, there we go. Now I got everything the way I want to say. So what I was saying earlier, even though it looked like I was just moving my mouth and not having a mic, there's nothing that's supposed to be like a straight down. Like we're not supposed to just go straight down and not have any pullbacks. So these pullbacks are just healthier ways for the market to kind of pull itself back, get a little bit of a sense on where we're going to be as an individual, as an individual stock, individual ticker, individual indice, whatever. So this downtrend was extremely vicious. It was just a straight down towards that angle. And if we really look deep into the chart, we started consolidating until we broke through. But wait a minute, how come we didn't just, it's a zero sum game? How come we didn't just go all the way up to this level where we started at when it's all said and done? That's not how it works. If it's zero sum game, then that means we probably got a lot of people that's still short in the market that's still sitting here. So I think NQ is just testing around that 50 EMA, finding out where bulls are feeling confident. We've played some intraday plays inside of here, made some real good money. I think there's some more upside. Maybe test back to the 200 EMA and then retest the downside and see where we're going to go from there. So let's look at oil. Oil is also doing something very similar to that. Remember, I was talking about oil on the daily, and I was looking for that fair value gap to fill, and I told y'all this was like 2 days ago, right? Actually, last week I think I kind of gave y'all a little warning of this, but this week, yeah, Tuesday, so basically yesterday. So yesterday, as I was explaining this level at 72, I got mixed in where I talk to the community versus how much I talk to y'all on YouTube. But yeah, so 72.69 is going to be a very tough area. If this consolidation that we're doing, where we kind of got a zigzag, until we kind of compress and hold that market to a point, this is the point that needs to break if we're going to continue down, and it could not. I marked off the level of 72.69, good demand area. It looks like it's reversing up, and then up here, down here in 67, this will give us that lower low from that major drop that we created back here in 2022 and 2023, right? So since we're nowhere near that line and we're not even going to be working to that 67, just try to make those lower lows, I'm going to go and say oil is probably going to try to break out of that upside. Look for it to probably try to get around that 80, 82 level, but we're going to see how that works. And you can see with the oscillating of the EMAs, we're just going up the 50 EMA, down to 200, up the 50 EMA, down to 200. And I think we're going to get one more cycle of that. So that's that one. Oh my God, let me speed up. Gold looks like we're getting away from that 2500, and it's well suited that we get away from the 2500 at this point. Maybe get back down into that contract expiration date. Remember, I told y'all we still got a little bit of that gap that they did not fill. I will not be surprised we come back and rebalance that area. Maybe it bounce off the 50 EMA. That probably will be a good little area. But for the most part, the 200 EMA has been powering this whole entire thing, and we haven't touched the 200 EMA since October. So I do see good things on the upside for gold. Same thing with silver. I think they just came for the M pattern when it did 50%. I would not be surprised if it reverses here. Here's the British pound. British pound was just slowly consolidating down while the market's going down. I think there's going to be a little bit of a detachment from the system norms, and we're still on it. Natural gas, I still don't think it's going to turn bullish. Now, if it does reject this H pattern here and gets above this 2.26, we might not get that 1.7 that I was looking for from last week. And then Russell, this is what I wanted to kind of speed up to get to. Russell looks like this. This is not really cute, but it tells me that they don't want it to be under 2000, which is sensible, right? Because that 2000 is going to be a very key level, and if it breaks that 2000, then that means they're not investing into small caps. So then you got to kind of take a little bit of a thought. Well, if they're not invested into small caps and they're selling off in tech, are they taking it off of small caps and then going to go right back into tech? or are they going to take it out of small caps and there's something else out there that is probably oversold that they can invest their money and gain? So we'll probably go and play with some tickers along the way as we get into that. All right, so the next one is the dollar. The dollar still looks like that death cross is coming into play. It is what it is. I got a little bit of the stochastic starting to point up, but if I go to the higher time frame, like the weekly here, looks like a doji, but we're on that downside of that stochastic. And then this is the monthly. I do want to see the monthly get to a point. Well, let me explain this, what I mean by that. Because we're kind of like in that middle area of the stochastic, look what the dollar did in this area, right? We were really pushing up, but we held that upper register. That was that push up of the dollar in 2022 that kind of caused the whole pullback in the market. When we was down here, this is 2020 December and 2020. This kind of tells you that the dollar's trying to power up. So seeing at the 50% mark, it pretty much can go anywhere that it wants. And I'm thinking it wants to lean downside, but then the bulls are like, no, we're going to go ahead and push this right back up here. And I think they're really taking away that momentum here. So I'm very curious on what the dollar does here. That said, we're going to go ahead and get right to it. I already have myself logged in on my Think or Swim. If you got some tickers that you want me to look at, by all means, you can put that inside of the chat. And then I'll log myself in and get myself ready to look at some tickets. Actually, let's go ahead and put NQ here on the 1 hour and see where we are. Because I woke up at 5 o'clock this morning and I thought we was going to get back into here and get the rest of this gap. I think they're waiting for New York session to do that. So we're probably going to have to temper our emotions a little bit real early and let the market really decide where it wants to go. All right, so that's one. Let me get that. Let's get you to the left. And then get this other one on. That's that one. This one I need to close off. We got less than 120 seconds until the market opens. So if you haven't logged into your accounts, I do suggest that you do so now, because that is what I am doing now. All right, boom and boom and boom. We get you on the right. You can go away and you're my left. Perfect. All right. So what I'm seeing from NQ, I think we're really going to fill the rest of this gap. I think there's going to be some opportunities to take that up. My futures traders, you should be able to get a nice little impact off of that. If we start to go a little crazy, I think my target is probably going to be here at 18,760, very close to the 200 EMA on the 1 hour. 1860. Actually, let me mark that off so I can see how it looks in the higher time frames. Let's call it here. And not that far. 4 hour. Yeah, nice little cross here. And then we'll probably fill this fair value gap inside of here on the 4 hour. On the 2 hour, you got a little bit of an order block here, especially what was once support turns into resistance. So that's probably where we're going to probably dance if it gains some momentum. Let me see historically. This is June. It's been a tough area. Used that as a rejection point until they took off. Oh, there goes the bell. All right, we are there. Let's go ahead and get back to current price action. Let's see it from the 15-minute. If it's the first time you're on my trading floor, by all means, doing something that's very simplistic. You probably heard of it. I gotta go check out my snow. Oh my God, I've been looking at so many different trades lately, but just how violent of a drop that we did, I'm having a hard time seeing anything as far as investing, because the drop was so violent. I was going to place some of this stuff to that downside, and I didn't get the benefit of doing that. And now these things look like they're trying to do that bounce up as well. So we want to see how that kind of goes along, to especially towards the end of August. Oh, there we go. There's it's going for that gap now. If you're in this for that gap is almost over. Here's our level at 501. So I want to see what they do with that. Look like there's still some sellers up here, but they did quite a bit of accumulation here. That accumulation kind of started back here, and then accumulated up to here. We kind of made that higher high here. That was that inverse head and shoulder. Now this one on yesterday did not actually end up being an inverse head and shoulder. I was so busy. Let me give y'all a kind of an update. Instead of me being able to take a real trade on this one, I actually took a vertical on that north side. I was looking for it to kind of come back down and test inside of this area. It did not. There was more supporters that was here. So roughly around, I want to say it was here or here on that pullback, I took a call vertical on SPX to kind of like still get a little bit of exposure. So I was happy with that profits. There we go, 522. So they're starting to push right through. So we're going to do the opening range breakout on this one, kind of similar to what I was going to do in this trade here. I did take my 20, well, it's like 15%, not 20% on that trade that we had in the market. And then after that, I did a vertical. So it added another 1% of my value of my portfolio. So I was happy with that. And now I'm just going to keep on adding to that compound. So just seeing how it goes, just baby steps. And then eventually the baby starts to walk and probably wobble a little bit. But the goal is to become Usain Bolt. So we're going to take it one step at a time. All right, so let's go ahead while we wait for this. Look at some tickers that I'm looking at. Some of the stuff that I'm still looking at. I am mad about Royal Caribbean. I'm still upset about that. But again, it was more sensible for me to sit out, because my goal when I released my video on my channel with horns versus claws, my goal was for me to play when the market opened to the downside, because I thought we was just going to kind of consolidate here, maybe even retest it here, and then come down to the 200. Then I'll accumulate there. But it looks like they did all of that on Monday. That's what it looks like to me. So I am going to sit out of Royal Caribbean because I didn't get the best price. And the last thing I want to do is get caught in volatility. But I will not be surprised Royal Caribbean can get back up to those highs, because it looked like everybody's invested into cruises. Especially they had a solid earnings, 16%. That's a good pop. AVGO, they finished their split. I'm still a little weary about playing anything with AVGO. You see what happened with the video with the split. I think AVGO will not be a stranger to it. So just keep an eye on AVGO. And then Pan W, I was looking if it was going to actually pan out. No pun intended. I keep doing that. I thought it was going to pan out, and let me call it Palo Alto, so that way I don't feel like I'm just laying out a whole bunch of puns. So I'm looking for Palo Alto to kind of break out of what looks like a little bit of an M pattern that was forming here. But you can see that Monday sell-off probably made a lot of these puts get cashed in. For you to get rid of the puts, you have to buy back. So I think that's the buyback. I think this is part of the bounce that we're getting here. So I'm going to be very curious on what Pan W does from that point on. On the bullish side, Abbott still didn't get a position in Abbott. I am looking for a little bit of a reprieve, maybe even lower, back to that 108 to see if it can consolidate. But it might run off today. I might look for something if it gets above the high from yesterday. ADP, deep pullback with a consolidation, with an engulfing. So I'm thinking that ADP is probably going to do one more test down. This is probably a little bit of light pullback. I would love to see the stochastic get back down here. I'll probably consider taking it up. And then healthcare, I'm bullish on healthcare, period. Oh, going back to our conversation earlier, I don't know, maybe they're going to pull out of the small caps to go into healthcare. This is one of the ones that I've been looking at, especially if you want to get really interested into healthcare. Look at XLV. We can look back to the weekly here, and you can kind of see we kind of consolidated and kind of drifted up like right here. And if we look at it from the daily, that golden cross happened in December, And as much as they try to dump healthcare, they could not. Here's your April correction. And then we've kind of been on this nice little drift up. So I think there's going to be a little bit of a pop here of all these different people thinking that we're going to make new highs on XLV. If I was to be a bit of a gambling man, 160 is probably what they're aiming for. 155. 155, 160 end of the year, maybe, possibly. So we'll see what happens. Let's get back to over to NQ. Let's see what the 15 minute is doing so far. So we're going to do the opening range breakout using the 15 minute. So far it looks like we've established our low at 440. Let's see if this is overheated a little bit. Again, some top wicks. Something like that. Let's see what it does with that in the next 3 minutes. Yeah, don't be shy. It's okay. You can put a chat item in. Oh, actually, you know what? I do have one more I want to look at in my red list. Go to my red list. Not pizza. I think it was it might have been GE. Might have been GE. Actually, yeah, we're gonna go with GE. So GE, I'm very curious about. The reason I'm curious about them is because this is GE Aerospace. So everybody knows what's going on with Boeing. Boeing has been dropping the ball. There's lawsuits, the whole nine and everything else. So I'm very curious on what GE does, because GE does supply some parts as well. They're in that manufacturing space of aerospace. So I want to see, are we going to make more highs? It is at all-time highs, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see, go back. I think we are. No, we're not at all-time highs. Let's look at here. Let's go here. So here's current price action. Oh, we're in a gap. We're refilling a gap again. This is going to be very interesting. 173. Let me mark off this level and this level here. See what's going on. So this is going back in 08. And if you don't know GE, they actually divested a little bit where they kind of split the companies. So this is going to be very interesting. Did they restructure so that way they can be able to kind of recapture this momentum? This will be very interesting. Let's look at the current price action. Yeah, actually not refill a gap. This was a fill of the gap. Okay, so this is going to be very, so I will be bullish above 173, because I will not be surprised that investors are stepping in. Oh yeah, this is going to be very interesting. I was actually playing this as a bull flag breakout because I kind of saw it like this, and I drew a trend line like it's struggling with the bull flag, kind of something like that. So if we can hold this level and then continue up, refill this gap, and then we could finish strong above 175, I could see GE taking another shot to that upside. But it is kind of doing a megaphone pattern a little bit. For my technical enthusiasts, this is not a good sign for upside. So you're getting like a reverse wedge. Some people call it that. But we're making higher highs and lower lows at the same time in the most current price action. Not normal. Not normal. So let's go ahead and get rid of this. Get back. Let's go see what's going on with NQ. We got ourselves another 5 minute. Let me see what they did with that trend line on that 5 minute. Did they break out? All right, broke through a little bit. It's coming back to my upward trend line. We kind of rejected on that. And we could not close above it. Not a good sign. Let's see if we can continue to make, we can make it higher lows ever since 9:15. See if we can kind of hang in there. So far, top of the range. So if we got those 2 points as top range and below right there, what will we target here? It kind of said 18,757. That would be a very interesting spot on the upside. Might have to go with that 450 contract we was kind of toying with yesterday. Maybe this block. Maybe we'll worry about this block here. So that would probably be 18. Let's call it 18175. 18175. All right. So let's consider 437. 437 puts. Okay, why are you acting funny? Like my option contracts is not loading. It's being a little silly. Yeah, it's doing it again. Okay. Let me go fix the problem. Let me relaunch you. Why did that come up? Interesting. Don't you just love it when oh, I see what happened. Technology is being technology. Let's see, get rid of that. Okay. This thing is doing some funky stuff. And I have no idea why. Okay. That's problem number one over there. All right. All right, fix that problem, fix that one. All right, perfect. This should solve it. Boom. And boom. And I get that split. There we go. All right, problem fixed. Okay, so I'm looking at a possible 437. 437 on the put side. All right, boom, boom, boom. And then 450 on the call side. Ooh. A little bit tight. Or is that the IV? Well, I think that might be the IV. Dang, that 450 is juiced. All right, we might have to go with 452. Let's go with 452. Let's put that there. And I'm probably looking at 452 on the downside. We'll see how it goes. We got ourselves less than 120 seconds until actually less than 60 seconds now. Minute just changed. Until our range is established. So be patient. Take your trade that you see. Looks like they want to break down this trend. That was a little tiny train. I almost filled that gap. We'll just wait. Do we have momentum to get through this block? That's the block that we're struggling with right now. Yeah, it's probably gonna be very choppy to get up into that 57. Maybe we should get some more bang for our buck. Maybe 18,875. I say 452. Maybe 455. Let's go that way. Possibly. Actually, I'm gonna leave the 452 just in case I change my mind. Ugh. Well, nah. Aggressive of a move, but very possible. All right. Our 15 minutes is established. Let me just look at the news to make sure we don't have any surprises at 10 o'clock. I did not go over the news with y'all. I do apologize, but there was nothing really too spectacular. Mostly it was Europe. So we got oil. We got consumer credit change. 17-week bill auction, 11:30, but nothing that's like a complete eyesore. We may continue to that upside. So I think I like that 455 into 452. I'm probably gonna play with those. All right, so we got our thoughts, we got our levels. Let's see if we get ourselves a 5-minute break above, because it's kind of look like it wants to go on the top side. Let's get rid of my watch list. Really? Okay, no problem. They're trying to recapture this wick so we can be able to break that 540 level. Looks like it's struggling a little bit. Let's take a peek at oil. Oh, that looks like a pretty bull flag breakout. That looks good. Let's see if we can break out. Let's see if we can come back to that. Let's see, gold. Nothing really shaking on the 5-minute. Nope. Nope. All right. Back to NQ. Now, like I said on yesterday, there are some people that will play the range where they'll short it on this area. If you're one of those, like I said, these opportunities are there. All I ask is that you have a why you're looking in the first place, what is going to be your entry, and when you're going to get out. Like, you see how I think it's a little bullish for you to try to test it here, but we are on the top register of stochastic, so there's a strong possibility it could have just fell, especially if it had broken these lows, filled the fair value gap, and that would have been some good money. But me personally, I like doing breakouts. I think my uptrend line is built on a daily. How did I do this one? On a 1 hour. That's how I built that one. So that 1 hour upward trend line, we broke through it with straight choppiness. And this was around 2 a.m. Not like we haven't broken through it before, right? And they're trying to break back above it and make some higher highs. Now, remember my rule about higher highs, when it's all said and done, we have to, where's my 2 touches? That's that touch and that touch. Oh, actually we just did it. We're already at it. So this trend line is probably destroyed. We're probably going to go up. This is probably the pivot point that's holding us up right here. Now that we broke through this level here at 485. Is making that 455 look even better. I want that close above. Now, could I just drive myself and just take myself into that 455 now? I could, but rules. I need to close. I want to close above it. I don't want to just jump into it and just kind of run the gamut. Oh, it's so tempting. A good spot would probably been kind of riding this 5-minute if I realized that we did make that upper trend. Might have been, but I noticed it a little bit later. All right, my alert just came in. Like some profit taking could happen here. Oh, or a whole lot of profit taking could be taken here. Oh man, look at that rejection. I don't know if anybody's trying to short this, but that was a deep rejection right there. And that's why I love candle close. Like I know some people they play differently. I'm a fan of candle close. Not taking any shots on anybody else's strategy, but it's what I'm comfortable with. Trade your plan, not your money. There will be opportunities. Like I said, the target I would be looking for, first one, maybe good take profit, it would be around here. Only thing that sucks, I just feel like because of how these order blocks was made here, that this is going to be a very choppy adventure. That's the only fear I have. So I'd rather take a break above here because I feel like it'll be smoother into these fair value gaps here. But still tempting. Still tempting to continue on this upside. That's why these order blocks are very important. You got to mark them off and put these levels. That way you can mentally prepare yourself a little bit, and also you can plan out your trade with your if then statements better. See that? Part of the reason why I did not want to do it like that, and that's why I say it was so tempting. Like the old JD and his normal cycle of just doing things because it just looks good, would have probably had taken that trade and was like, oh my god, why is it doing this? We're making these higher lows all the way over here and here. Why are you doing this to me? They're looking at my stop loss. They know it's me. You know what I mean? Like all those things kind of pop through your head. It doesn't happen. It's just literally you're not reading the chart with the clear objectivity that you should. So very choppy. To kind of give you a little perspective, shout out to my futures trader. I'll go to the Qs right after. You're talking about a nice push up of 100 ticks to reverse that, losing 100, then reversing back, and we're back 100 here. So that's like a 200 tick swing, just that alone. On the Qs, does it say you got it one close to the money? You probably got in the money or got close to being in the money to be completely knocked out of the money and almost a deviation back, because that's almost 65 cents. You give up the 65, now it's a whole dollar and $1.20 now, and more pressure is coming in. So that's why it's very, very important that you pay attention to that, because if I'm watching the charts and I'm trading Guru A, right, and I'm seeing these wicks here, it's telling me that sellers exist in these areas. That this whole entire thing is one big old order block, that more sellers could exist here. Either that they were out of the market and they just put their sell positions to short it there, or they could be already in there. They already ran it up from earlier this morning and they're taking their profit because they know sellers can exist there. Like there's just so many ways to do it. Now, I just to kind of give you the example, if I just chased it, I probably would have been up roughly like 20% or so. Probably took my money right then and there. But now the contract I was looking has lost about 40% of its value just on that drop off. And if we go back to the chart, it's starting to really break down. That's that center pivot here. That was the one that should have held it, actually, if you really think about it. Because when I was in that 5 minute, I was kind of explaining that we kind of made a new high here. So could we go back, retest this trend line to make sure that we have support? That could be the play. If we break the range, I'll probably be looking for that same contract. 437. I'm probably going to still say, actually, let me save this, put this to the side. Probably look at that 437 contract still and play it into here and take my profit. Looking for it to break the 50 and the 200 EMA.
Sorry.
What are you doing?
I didn't put these in here because I keeps touching them.
Okay, all right, I'm recording. So, not really a good morning pop to really look for. We could look at the wicks of this 5 minute. If you're a scalper, you probably could make some money here, but nothing that just tells me that the opening range is going to be breaking out now. 500 level, key psychological level for NQ to kind of hold up here. Probably the retest here. And then now we get the break above, and then maybe we could get some buyers to step in. So again, we'll probably wrap up 10:15, 10:30. If we don't find no trades, we took a good trade yesterday. It's okay. You could always find a good trade at a later time, or just wait till tomorrow's opening range. Maybe it'll be a little bit smoother because we'll be at a different point of the chart. But do not force a square into a circle hole. Do not force your money into the market. All right, just to let y'all know, and I finished the flyer and everything. End of August is going to be my boot camp. If you have not been to one of my classes, this boot camp is designed to get you to become a profitable trader as quickly as possible. Hence the reason it's a challenge. We're going to challenge you, make you as strong as possible. I look forward to working with all the individuals that participate. The details will be on the flyer. I'll be sending that out later on this afternoon. It's going to be a lot of fun. I just did the July one. Good turnout, good workout. I think a lot of people learned some new things. Some of it is fundamental, so we kind of reestablished the foundations just to make sure that you don't deviate and kind of create your own strategy and then create your own fundamentals and foundations. You still need to keep the core values in that. So I'm going to reinforce that. And by the end of the boot camp, take a trade and generate some money. If you're brand spanking new, we do ask that you paper trade, but for my seasoned folks coming into the boot camp for more than once, we're probably going to take a trade, get our money, get out, kind of similar like how my trading floor is. We get our money and we get ourselves out. And we're going to talk some other strategies other than opening range, of course, right? So look at that. Nice little bounce. Not strong enough to get back above that level I was looking at. Let's see. Let me save this order. Put it right there. Like somebody just sent me a message. Let me see what they're talking about. Oh, yeah. I'm not going to do that. Very tempting again. I wanted this candle to get here and then close like here. That's what I was really looking for, but that didn't happen. Looks like everything is kind of balanced. We try to get into the fair value gap. This could have been a fair value gap refill, and then we just continue, recapture the wick, and continue up. But again, it violates my rules. I bend it last time, and I knew better, but it did turn out to be positive. But I wrote in my journal, I knew I bent the rule because we took the momentum of that 5 minute candle and then kind of continued up, and it worked out well. I do not want to have a habit of breaking my rules, so I am going to wait for the candle close. I've already did the math, the statistics, and back tested. It's better when we close above, but this might get away from us. That same contract I was just talking about lost 40%, and now is currently up 10% of where it was. Not something that I took, because I could show y'all. Where's my P&L one? There we go. I have no positions in this account, so none at all. And then the other one that y'all saw yesterday, that's this one. That's my pizza position. Still got my pizza position. No trades at all, because this channel will be designed for accountability. I do not have any position. Still watching the market, and sometimes that happens. You want to make sure that you get your rules. You want to make sure that it adheres to it. Maybe if it retests that area level or something after it does some banana stuff, because I do feel like in the next 2 minutes and 50 seconds it's just going to shoot off and do something crazy. It's that 50 level, that 550 level. It's struggling to hold above. Look like there's still some sellers sitting right there. Again, like I said, this order block was a tough one. I played this one to the downside. You had to really hold on to your positions on it. Not saying that you should on this one. If you are in this, just wait for your rules. Mine's is close above the 5. Let's get rid of that. I don't have no position. No purpose of putting up P&L. Come on, baby. What we doing? Sometimes this thing can put you to sleep. You got a minute and 31 seconds. We couldn't make a higher high on this wick, so I think that scared some bulls off. My double top come down to a lower time frame so I can show y'all what I mean. This is a 1 minute chart. Looks like they're trying to double top it here with the sellers, saying you will not pass here, and that's the battle that we're going to be facing. Did they reload to get back up and destroy that 550 level and hold? Maybe. We'll see. Doesn't scream out strength to me, especially with this 5 minute pointing down like that. Let me see what the 15 minute looks like. Yeah, it's bullish, but top wicks bend here tells me that it wants to come back down again. But we're not playing the range. We're going to play the block. I need to get below here for me to go ahead and short it. And I know sometimes the opening range can be criticized, like, well, you know, if you caught the pivots here, it already pivoted here. That's another strategy. If you want to run that strategy, by all means, have at it. Right? If you're already in that trade, have at it. But my goal for this live trading floor, opening range, take the trade. Everybody's happy. If it doesn't give us a setup, we walk away, live to fight another day. That's all. And if you can focus on worrying about the discipline more than you focus on how much money is in your pocket or the trade that you missed out of, or the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, or the mix of the FOMOs and all that stuff, that's when you start to like really feel like Neo in the Matrix. Like you just feel like, okay, I can deal with this. All right, that's what it's doing. No, it's not really perfect, and it just feels like you could see it like chess, like 2, 3 steps ahead. When you look back at historical data, you're more specific and objective to it, so that way you're not getting your emotions involved. None of that. None of that. All right, we got like about, I don't know. We'll call it 9 more minutes. I'll probably end at 10:15 because it looks like we're going to just stay in this range. If we go up to the 15 minute, you see it's a doji and a doji after such an impactful candle. Come over to the 1 hour. You got yourself an impactful candle with a sell off at the top. That's not cute. Um, and then we're just pulling back into it. Can it recover all of it and then make some higher highs? Absolutely. And that's why we write these rules. That means this 5 minute needs to hold its support here. Did it reload? Maybe. Are the sellers strong enough? That way they can make this downtrend really hold like this? Maybe. But we came back. We didn't even fill the whole fair value gap. We still got a little bit of space here, and then we're sitting on top of another. Ooh, I did not see that. We got a little bit. I be pointing this out for my community. Some people think it's a little crazy, wonky, but look, insanity is usually the bridge between creativity. So let's go ahead and look at this. Didn't wick down here, right? So we got ourselves a little bit of what is considered a kick. You could look that up on Investopedia. Kick price up about a tick, filling the orders because they didn't have enough sellers to fill the orders, so they probably got it selling on this top side. That's probably why we're top wicking here. And now that they keep wicking this, we might have to go back down and rebalance here. Part of me makes me want to kind of position myself for this rebalance now, but I think I'm gonna sit back and watch and probably journal this one and see how this pans out, because that's probably why we're ranging like this. Like, what objective are they trying to accomplish? We're sitting right below our order block. Did the brokers get us pushed up to this level, so that way when we get to this level we can go ahead and load up what we need for the institution that's sitting up there in that order block? Very possible. Very. We'll see. We'll let the chart tell us. Now, a minute and 26 seconds. Look like they're going to do another push up to this level. Could they be reloading their puts? All right, we got ourselves. Great. We got ourselves 6 more minutes. 6 more minutes. Oh, I didn't even know they do that. Yeah. I could probably do an automation for that. All right, they're coming for that wick again. Like I said, that order block. When I said that order block was tough, I was talking to my wife as we was trying to play that thing to the downside. We had the targets, but it was just like chop, 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 chop. Like we were bullish on. Give me a second. Yeah, these kids, they so wild. All right, so we were playing it. And as we were playing it, let's see, you could kind of see we're talking about, let's take for example the 9, where's the 9 o'clock one? Oh no, I think, yeah, so we made a massive drop here, right? And then I thought it was going to be continuation. You could see the liquidation that they swept right here. So this candle, after its peak, let's just say you waited for 15 minutes, it reversed like 600 ticks. That's just insane, right? And we're talking about, this was a red candle. After it put in such a green candle, they were trying to sell it again, sell it again. So there was like, if you wasn't paying attention, you got chopped up, destroyed. So this one was very tricky to play on that Friday, and that's why I was thinking of taking like overnight puts. But I was like, oh, it's so choppy. Should I take the overnight puts with over the weekend puts? And I gotta pull back on that one. Just waited to the market. It was a good thesis, but could have been dangerous. All right, so we closed inside of the wick. They try to get back up there. Is this strong enough? Are they going to do a deviation of this? Let's see. Well, we'll figure that out. Got like about 3 more minutes. Yeah, it might be strong enough, but I think they did a nice little buy up right here. Let's see if they sweep this liquidity down here. Because again, like the way the 15 minutes looking, it does look like it wants to stay bullish, but we have not made a higher high for about 15 minutes, and we did make a higher lower low here. Very interesting. We might not get the top side. We might be going down. Very rangy. I'm not a range trader. If you are, by all means, listen, have at it. It looks like good selling points at least 3 times. Let me just point this out if you're curious of what range trading is. This is nice little break below. They already established this here, and then they rejected this area. You're talking about a nice drop off to that pivot point here, about 200 ticks. Let's just say you reversed it off the 50 EMA on this 1 minute, back up, and then when it got back to this level, showed you signs. There was a nice break, and then another 200 ticks. So that's 400 ticks just on that sequence itself. I'm not going to say patient enough. It's just one of my pet peeves. Let's say I played the range, and then that's the time that they break out. Like, I just don't want to be caught in something like that. So I'd rather just wait for the consolidation to be over, let everybody have their fun. Eventually, the institutions step in, and then we get our breakouts, and that's where I play. So that's why the close above here is so important to me. But if you were listening and kind of like reverse engineering, since it's not closing up there, you could play back down inside of the range. And this one was a nice little drop here. Rejected a couple of times. Let's say your target was in here, because you know eventually it's probably going to give up one of them and you want to be tighter, right? There's only so much you can. That's still 100 ticks. Still 100 ticks. So you could have set like a limit order, maybe stop loss above here. If it breaks out, stop you out. If it doesn't, you can bring it right back down and keep on going from there. That said, I don't want to spend so much time in the middle of consolidation. Not a lot of movement is happening. This could be because there's just no news catalyst in itself. So what we'll do tomorrow we'll do it again, 9:15 right here, Tuesdays through Thursdays, before you take the trade, and we'll do the trading floor edition one more time. All right, y'all have a great day. See you tomorrow.